You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You need to be the person who is helping other people see what's going on and make those connections. How can I help people see what else is going on that would make their efforts, more meaningful and more productive? My career journey is, I guess, a varied one. I'm a PhD biochemist by training, so I came into industry in research and pharmaceutical companies developing new products and spent about 10 years in that space. And then I transitioned after that first decade into the supply chain space, where I really focused on quality. Quality is such an important attribute for any kind of healthcare product. And it was really a space where I could use my data and science, but also be very much more involved with what the company's trying to deliver and the sort of day-to-day challenges of the company. So I really found that role in supply chain to be really well suited for what I enjoyed doing and what I felt I could make a difference in. I'd probably say that it's a combination of my personal passion. I'm really committed to trying to live a sustainable life. I've recently moved to an agri-hood, which is a community built around an organic farm and sustainable principles, so it's very much a part of a passion in my life. But I'm also a scientist, and I understand the data, and I understand the importance of really dealing with what's happening in our environment. And I think businesses are probably the most well-poised to get us on that journey and to really make a difference. Fundamentally, I think that companies are out in front on creating the change necessary to deal with climate change, to deal with environmental impacts of our consumer ecosystem. I think companies are the agents of change here. It's one thing for individual companies to make big leaps, let's say, in their own environmental footprints, but we're going to have to work together to make the ecosystem changes. And I think that's where the digital journey has to come. And that's a varied source of many different suppliers from across the world. And how do we begin to get information from them about what is their carbon footprint, and then how do we help them? So I think there's a wide space in which manufacturers can work with suppliers based on a common language and a common set of data that needs to come through technology. I think it's all about aligning to the incentives within your ecosystem. So within your company, if your employees are incented to, drive growth with brands, they need to also be incented in an aligned way to drive down the carbon footprint of those brands. For retailers we work with, they really want to meet their goals. And so we can work with them and we can help them meet their own goals. I would say calm down, relax, because there's going to be a varied journey ahead of you and you can't foresee it, right? I mean, I think that as a scientist coming into industry, I couldn't have predicted that I would have moved from research into supply chain and that I would have found it so exciting and so invigorating.